box yesterday. That's a new movie by Richard Kelly, the guy who wrote and directed Donnie Darko and Southland Tales. And I think he adapted this movie from some novel or short story called Button Button by Richard Matheson. And this one stars Cameron Diaz, James Marsden, and Frank Langella. And it takes place in Virginia during the mid-70s, where this family, this married couple with a son, they get this box delivered to their front porch by some mysterious guy who you don't see much of at first. He's got like a trench coat and a hat, and he rides in a black car with this chauffeur. And they drive off before they open the door and see the box sitting there on the front porch. And the box has this button on top of it. It's sort of encased by this glass on top that you have to open with a key so you can push it. And it has a note attached to it that says they'll get a visit from the guy who delivered it at 5 p.m. the next day. So he gets there, and it turns out to be Frank Langella, who's like this burn victim with half his face gone right here. And I'm not sure if it's CGI or makeup, but to me it looks a tad fake, like it might be that same kind of CGI makeup they use for Arnold's face in Terminator 3, where it's like green makeup or green screen makeup, where they sort of just add the effects in later in post-production. He tells them about this box where if they push it, two things happen. One, somebody somewhere they don't know dies somehow, and they get $1 million if they push the button. Gives them 24 hours to make their decision. And once they make that decision, it can't be undone. So they end up discussing all the pros and cons of whether or not they should push the button. And they end up pushing it, and somebody dies. And they find out about it, and they start to feel guilty about it, like, no, maybe we shouldn't have done this. Here, take the money, we don't want your money. But no, we're not taking the money back, you already pushed the button, so it can't be undone. This is like a test or something like that. Test to see how they do, or some kind of morality test. I'm not sure. All these weird things start happening. A bunch of people start getting nosebleeds, and people start following them around, watching their every move, and it turns out they're Frank Langella's employees or henchmen or whatever, just watching them, seeing what they do. And they try to go to the police after they find out that somebody died, or who died. And when they try to do that, Frank Langella calls them and says, like, we're watching you, I see you went to the police, you can't do that. And then things just start getting weirder and weirder from there. And it's like, throughout the whole movie, I just had this what the fuck look on my face. And basically towards the end, there's a possibility they could be next when this whole test is over, when the box gets reprogrammed and delivered to another family that they don't know, who then has to make the same decision, where do they push the button and someone they don't know dies, which turns out to be the main family. So it all sort of comes back to bite them in the ass later on in the end. And it was all like a moral test, a moral dilemma, where, would you take being responsible for someone's death for $1 million? Like, do you want the money that bad, or are you gonna listen to your conscience and fuck the $1 million? I don't want to kill anybody. This movie's not gonna be for everybody. It's a really slow-paced mystery. Has a lot of layers to it, a lot of things that you don't maybe pick up on the first time you watch it. So if you're into that whole deep mystery thing that makes you think, takes repeat viewings to get the full gist of. Kind of like Donnie Darko, although it's not as deep as Donnie Darko, but it's pretty close, and it's got the whole same vibe. So if you like Donnie Darko, then you'll probably like this. But if you're expecting some typical fast-paced, edge-of-your-seat thriller like how it looked in the previews, then you might be disappointed, unless you go into it with an open mind. Personally, I thought it was a decent follow-up to Donnie Darko, way better than Southland Tales. It really makes up for that. And it's not as deep, but it's a little more concise. It's shorter. It's a little under 2 hours, and it's a little faster paced than Donnie Darko. It's a little easier to follow and understand. It's a little easier to take in and watch in one sitting. Although, like I said, it does take repeat viewings to get the full gist of. So it really makes you think, and that's what I like about it. It's what I like about Richard Kelly's style. Overall, I thought it was really well written, well acted all around. Can't find much wrong with it, except like some moments where you're just like, what the fuck? And you like it moves kind of fast enough where you can't, you don't have time to really think much about it while it's all going on. So things, you might miss a few things and be like, what the fuck? What does that mean? Like, how does that happen? Or things you won't understand, in the first viewing. But if you're interested in seeing it again, then you might figure stuff out more the second time or third time. So, like I said, the movie's not for everybody. But I'd say it's worth a watch. If not in theaters, then at least on DVD when they might have like a director's cut out by then, because as you may know, there's a Donnie Darko director's cut, and that was like way deeper than the theatrical cut, and it's like had a lot more to it. Like it's even like the theatrical cut of Donnie Darko, to this day I still don't get the full gist of, but the director's cut, that's even way deeper. So knowing Richard Kelly's style of storytelling, I'd expect a pretty good director's cut if it ever comes out on DVD. But I like the theatrical cut too, so that's just me. But if I had to rate this movie, I'd probably give it